and welcome to another episode of the Theater Professor Vidcast. My name is Terry Dana Chikimak II, and I'm the Theater Professor, and you are here with our ArtRage for the Desktop series, tutorial series. We are continuing on from last week, where we started discussing sticker spray, and now we're going to learn how to create our own sticker brush. This is kind of really exciting. Before we jump into that, I want to say a thank you to my first ever Patreon supporter, Kathy. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. What can I say? But it makes me feel good inside that what I'm doing is having an effect on people. So thank you very much. For those that don't know, I've talked about Patreon before. It's a way that you can help support what I do here and what I create, whether it's the podcasts, the vidcasts, or my art. This is something that I would love to eventually become the basis of a second career. You know, I teach, which I love doing, but this is something that I want to do as well, the vidcasts, etc. So yeah, I've had Patreon up for a little bit and got my first subscriber, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, so what are we doing today? We are going to create our very own brushes. Now, this is cool. As you can see, I have ArtRage up. Remember, ArtRage it has a free trial, so make sure you check it out. And what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to create a new file or a new painting. And what I want you to do is we're going to make it really simple for us. We're going to make it, let's make it 400 pixels by 400 pixels. We're doing a square. There's a reason I'm doing a square. You don't have to do a square, but a square is simpler for me to work with. The other thing that you have to do, and you have to make sure you do this, because if you don't, this won't work right, is we need to click on Canvas, the little hamburger stack here. We need to come down to Special, and we need to choose Cell. And what that does is it creates a blank or a transparent background. Okay, this is important. If you don't do this, then you get the square of the canvas as part of your brush, and you don't want that. And then click OK. Bam! We have a square, and it is ready to be worked on. Now, you can do pretty much anything here, okay? You can use any of our paint tools, etc., etc. So what we're going to do, and I've played around with this a little bit, is we're going to actually, let's pull the acrylic. Now, you want to paint in red. Okay, red is the color, and there's probably a much bigger reason than this, but if you don't choose red, then whatever color you put on here will affect the colorations as you're choosing it. So for example, right now, if I go on here and go into my sticker presets, and let me just grab my sketch brushes. So I grab this chalk style here, right? If it was originally done in anything other than red, I wouldn't get a color. Okay, that color wouldn't happen. Okay, and so you have to make sure that you do this in red. So I'm all the way in red, nice deep saturated red. And we're going to pull our acrylic brush, and we'll just do a normal round right now. And we're going to make a paint. Essentially, it's a paintbrush head. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have some fun here. Bow ties are cool. That's for my Doctor Who fans. You know who you are. God, I cannot wait till the newest season, which I haven't been able to watch any of, actually comes to Netflix. Then I'm gonna grab a knife and grab one of my blenders. There we go. Come in here. I'm gonna blend this outside edge. Okay. So what we've got here is we've just got a little image. Great thing about this is the fun you can have. And what you could do, if you wanted to, you could actually grab a little white And you'll see why this is cool here in a second. Because we're still in that red palette, right? Okay. So now we have our image, right? It's pretty, whatnot. I like it. We can, let me see here. No, okay. I was hoping maybe there was like a trim tool, and there probably isn't here. I just don't know where it is, you know. Resize painting. No, I don't want to resize the painting. It really would be a crop of the painting. But what I don't see is the ability to crop to what is here, if that makes sense. So we're just going to leave as is. It's not a big deal. Sometimes I would crop around this to make it a little smaller so that we're not dealing with all that excess that's around it. But like I said, it's not something that I have... maybe it's in the layer options. No. It's not something that I use often in this. Like in Photoshop, I know exactly where it is. This, not so much, because this is art. This is not Photoshop. All right, we have it. Well, this is going to be our first brush. We're going to go up here, and we're going to click File, and we want to export the image file, which is also Control E. So you can see I've done some testing already. And we're going to call this First Brush. And save it as a PNG. That's important. See these other settings? Don't care. PNG is what you need. And then my heat comes on, and we get a little hum in the tutorial. Click Save. And then what we're going to do is I'm actually going to do a new painting so that we don't have to look at that. Okay. And now, to use the sticker spray, we're going to click on Sticker Spray. We need to open up our stickers. And the first thing that we need to do, I go down to My Group because that's where I want it to be. And I click New. And I'm going to use the lower layer. Notice how I did that. You can either click the three dots, or you can just click on the open square. And I'm going to double click my first brush, and there it is. I'm not going to adjust anything else other than the name. We'll call it First Brush to keep it consistent. And we click OK. So we have this right here. Let's close that down. And let's open up our settings. So in our settings, I'm going to click my sheet. I'm going to go down to My Group. First Brush. Okay. Now understand, all of these spray variations are essentially set from the last thing you did. So you have to adjust all of these spray variations. So for right now, whatever tool that I used last is what those spray variations are. So if I come in here, I get no color. Oh, because I'm on white. So this is what we're getting right now. I'm not a keen fan of that. Okay, so I'm going to clear that out. We know how to clear the layer by now. And we're going to adjust some things. Let's see. The first thing that I want to do is I want to get rid of this. Clear that value. Take this all the way up. Okay. Stroke direction. I'm okay with that. Our spray rate, I'm going to take to 100. There we go. So now I'm not getting the spacing, and it feels a little more painterly. When there was a little bit of a spray rate, you get something like that. Though, that creates a nice scale look. Huh. Let me clear all that. That's creepy. Okay, but that's not why I'm doing this. Let me go take the spray rate back up. So this is what we get out of that creation. Now, obviously, lots of things can be adjusted. We come back into the spray variation. We're going to clear this, take that up. Okay. You can, we don't need this, so I'm going to clear that value. Let's do random for our scale. No. I'll clear that. Let's do random for the rotation. There we go. So now, as you can see here, we create little clouds. This is the same brush head, right? I haven't changed the brush head. The reason we get a different look is because I'm changing how the program is moving the brush head about. Okay, come in here. We can, you know, this is all stuff that you can do over and over. We're gonna clear that. Now we get almost a cotton candy. There it is. Let's take the offset and increase it fully to random. Ooh. And clear my layer. Zoom out a little bit. Now we get little petally things. If we were to... There we go. So now you could do almost like rose petals. And essentially what I have is I have my spray rate down and I have my offset up to random. And right now my pressure is controlling how big they are and how saturated they are. So that's really cool. So you can see how this can become kind of addicting. I mean, honestly, you could sit here and do all sorts of things. One of the other ones that I've already created as one of my testers was, I think it's this one. Yeah, it is. Okay, and if we come in here, we'll take that back to 100 and get rid of this offset. There we go. And it's very painterly, or pencily. If I increase the size, we can see it a little better. It's got some texture along the outside edges. Let's take off rotation, being random. Oops, I want to go smaller, not bigger. And then, so one of the things that I've got right now, so the alpha is being completely controlled by the pen pressure. So if we were to actually clear that value and just take the base value up to like 20%, you'll get something that can be layered. In fact, we could even, looking at that, we could even go lower. Let's do like, just like, there's like this is 1%. And it's almost airbrushy. Let's increase that. Oh, no. I just want like 5%. There, 6%. And let's do this. Let's go ahead and clear the page. Zoom back out. Increase the size of the brush. And really come in here. And you can kind of see what it looks like. Okay. So what other types of things can you do with the shapes? Okay, so if we were to, let's go ahead and clear this and do another 400 by 400. And click, oh, remember we need to change this to special, cell, and click OK. All right, so what are some other things that we might be able to do? Well, one of the things that we might be able to do is pull textures from the interwebs. So if we come up here, oh, don't look at my email, it's evil. Okay, and we just do a search of texture. And do images. Now what I often do is I'll actually come in here and make sure that they're labeled for reuse, because I don't like to take other people's work if they don't want it being taken. So some wonderful textures here, right? So if I were to grab this one, let's look at this. That's a nice rock. So what I'm going to do is I just want to view the image. I'm going to save the image to my downloads folder. Okay. And then let's come in here and let's go ahead and import an image file from our download file, or from our download folder. And obviously it's way too big. So we are going to edit it. Actually, can we just resize the... No, we can't. So we'll edit it. We'll resize the painting. So you can see it went bigger. We don't want it bigger. And actually, we're not going to resize the painting. What we're going to do is we're going to resize the canvas. And the reason for that is I don't want the detail to go any smaller. So I've resized it, and then I can adjust where it sits. So we'll go right there. Okay. Now, what you'll notice is, oh my gosh, it's not red, right? So that's one of the things that is you can actually do a little better in Photoshop with adjustment layers. And just simply looking at what we have available here, trying to see, I guess you could go with hue. And let me see if that does like literally anything. Because what we're trying to accomplish here is we don't want to, that's what we don't want to do, right? So let's actually turn this into regular. I think I have an idea here. Turn this, if we put a layer over top of it, and I'm going to paint this red. I know you're like, but it's all gone. Don't worry. We'll bring it back. And then we change this layer. Let's see. Oops. It clicked before I could get to it. Oh, that is hue. That's saturation. And, you know, this is one of those things that we play with. How can we... Oh, there we go. We now have red. Bam! And in case you're curious, what we're using here is we're using color. Okay? Not luminosity. Which turns it really disgusting. Go back to color. Okay? So again, I want to double check my crop canvas resize. For some reason it went there. I want this at 400 and 400 and click OK. And why did it's wanting to stay, because it's keeping the original aspect. So let's undo that. Let's edit, crop. I'm going to unclick, keep the aspect so that we get a nice square. Okay. Now, one of the things that I want to do is if I were to take this and try and use it, these hard square edges would look bad. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to soften up those edges. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use an eraser. And we're going to come in to our under layer, and I'm going to use the, and actually you could do one of two things. One of the ways is with an eraser. In fact, I'll do it both ways so that you see. And the type of eraser I'm using is a soft eraser. You can see the settings there, pressure at 50, softness at 100. And if you come out, and what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to undo that, because first I'm going to bring these two layers together. There we go. There we go. And I don't like that softness. Let's take my brush bigger. Okay, so this is the best way to do it. Okay. Now you could take your pressure way down. And I'm just kind of putzing around with it now. Okay, so now that we have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to export it like we did before. Export to the desktop. And we'll call this second brush. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a new painting. And we're going to grab our sticker, come in here, grab my group. Oh, I have to bring it into the sticker palette. New, click that, call this second brush. From the left, click OK. And then come in here, go to second brush. And now, and I'm going to reduce the size. If I zoom in, you can see the texture there if I tap it enough times, right? But what it does is it creates a nice little textured brush for us. And you can come in then with your palette knife if you wanted to and play with it. And honestly, oh, file failed to upload. Oh, darn. All of this is up to you as the user. I mean, the sheer number of ways you can experiment with this, I could go ad nauseum. So, for example, let's do this. You can see I did a sticker preset down there. I'm going to take my first brush. No, I'm going to create I can't edit that, can I? No. So I'll do a new one. I'm going to use that earlier first brush. But now I'm going to add a texture to that first brush from my downloads. Oh, interesting. It just covers it up, really? Well, that's not nearly as cool as what I thought was going to happen. So what if we did this then? Nope, that just covers it up. So what if we came in here? What if we came, came here. And then here we went and grabbed. I was hoping we would see some sort of... Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. This is where, I haven't done any of this before. This is me just kind of playing with it, not knowing exactly what it does. So I encourage you to play with these and see what you can come up with. Understand that if you really want some control, you can actually create your ping file in Photoshop and bring that into here. And you can do a lot more in Photoshop. This tutorial is for people who only have ArtRage, to show that you can do it fully in ArtRage. It's not necessarily quite as easy, but it is doable. We'll do one more so that let me find special cell, and let's use something like, let's draw a picture. Make sure we're on our red. Let's grab actually the marker. There we go. I'm going to increase my size. There we go. And no. I'll do this here. Then we'll export image. We'll call this third painting. Or no, third brush. And again, we'll go into our sticker brushes. We need to add our sticker. Click OK. Oh, cancel. Third brush. And then we come here, come to my group, we grab third brush, and out of curiosity, what does it do? And there it is. I'm doing a very big version. Let's go a little more. Yeah, so you can see some of the cool things that you can do with it. And then again, as we've talked before, you can come in here. Let's change that up. Now it's almost like a Q-tip. It is a Q-tip. Look at that. Let me do like a really light. We'd have to do our background first. So if we did a background. And then we grab the white. And there we go. We have our Q-tip. Then you'd need like the... There we go. All right. So this is what you can do with your brushes. What I'd love to see is I would love to see what type of brushes you're coming up with. So leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Leave it on the YouTube comments. If you're watching this on the website, leave it on the post comments. I want to see what type of brushes you were coming up with. Couple of announcements that I don't think I made at the beginning of the video. This is one of those times where I go, oh, did I say this already? I've got a lot coming out next week. So really keep an eye on the website. I don't have as many classes. If you listen to my podcast this week, I mentioned it. I only have classes on Monday. Then we go straight into Thanksgiving break. So I've got a lot coming out next week, including brushes, including information about a new webinar where I'm going to work with you on creating a Christmas card. This is going to be really cool. I'm really excited about this, but we're going to sit together and using ArtRage, we're going to develop a personalized Christmas card. Okay. So I've got that coming up. You know, there's just so much going on right now that I can't be more thankful. You know, really, really happy and blessed to be able to do this kind of stuff and have the type of response. So thank you guys. All right. That's it for this week. My name is Terry Danich II, and I am the theater professor. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.